welcome back to the first Room One-on-One from the Homeboys of 2025, and thank you all for watching and listening. Champions League is back, and we're back at Celtic Park for a massive, huge, giant match next Wednesday evening. But before I introduce my guest, let's have a look at our opponents and a wee bit of background before we get started. So BSC Young Boys. Bemza Sports Club Young Boys was founded on the 14th of March 1898 in Bern, Switzerland by four high school students, Hermann Bauer, Franz Kerli, and Max and Oscar Schwab. The name was based on the club BSC Old Boys from Basel, who had started 4 years earlier, and the lads had watched them. So the club colours were actually based on this decision, as Old Boys wore yellow and black. Initially known as FC Young Boys, emerging from the shadows of FC Bern, the name remained until 1925, when the current name was incorporated and the club moved from their old Spittelacker Platz to the Wankdorf Stadium, which would hold 22,000 spectators. The old stadium was demolished in 2001 and rebuilt in 2005. The Stadion Wankdorf, which currently has a capacity of 32,000 and is played on an artificial turf. Young Boys are current champions of Switzerland and have 17 league titles, joint third best in Switzerland. Only Grasshopper and Basel with more titles over Young Boys and Servette. Young Boys have also won one of the short-lived Swiss League Cup and one Swiss Super Cup, the even shorter-lived competition between the league and Swiss Cup winners. Despite being one of the biggest clubs in the country, the Swiss Cup has been a harder one for the club. Only 8 wins, making them the 6th best, again joined with Servette, the last coming in 2023. In Europe, the team's pinnacle came in 1958-59 when they reached the European Cup semi-finals, losing to Reims of France. In an 87-88 European Cup Winners' Cup, the team reached the quarter-finals, falling to Ajax. And more recently, in 2021, the Europa League, the team reached the last round of 16, again losing to Ajax. So now we know a wee bit more about opponents. I am delighted to welcome Roman Käeser, to the show.
No
Roman,
worries.
how do I find you?
I'm fine.
Great. It's Roman, it's tradition on the show for new guests to tell us a wee bit about themselves. Just who are you? Who is Roman Käeser? Why do you support Young Boys?
I'm Roman, 30 years old, living in Switzerland, as you told already. I grew up around Bern, 30 minutes away in a village. So by train, it wasn't that far away. I always had connection to Young Boys as a child. Never has been a stadium, but
right. Wow.
more than 10 years ago, I thought I need something to do, to go out. And I thought, okay, Young Boys is kind of something good. I always was interested, so I buy a season card. And since more than 10 years, I'm season card owner. So always same seat. And that's it. And I grew up around Bern, and Bern always has been a city which is important for me. Still, always will be important. My hometown. And the Young Boys and Bern is always kind of has a huge connection. It fits together. It's kind of like Young Boys is Bern and Bern is Young Boys.
They represent each other. Brilliant, mate. So, if you don't mind me asking, how much would a season card be for yourself?
How much it costs? You mean?
Yeah.
I have a seat behind the goal, and the seat is around now 480 a season. And when I want to have a season card on the stands without seat,
right, okay.
Where the ultras are placed, which I basically tried once too, but it's not mine to be kind of ultra. So
did you not like it in there? No, the standing.
Yeah, it was kind of too massive. Kind of there are a lot of that time there has been a lot of aggressions, a lot of fighting.
Okay,
and I dislike this stuff like that. So it's always had to be. I think it has to stay friendly, even be between other supporters from other clubs. So I don't like this.
Me too, mate. Me too. I agree.
So I 1 year I tried out. It wasn't mine. So, but
so how much would How much would a season card be for the ultra section? Is it
Around 200, something like that.
right? Okay, so it's a big difference. So you're probably paying about £430 for your season ticket. Man, that's still very good considering we think Switzerland is the most expensive place in the world.
Yeah, it is. It is. The costs are really, really expensive about the food and
Beer.
everything which you have to pay normally, like, and the tax and stuff. I think it's important. I think it's expensive, but the club of Young Boys is like that. They like to have many supporters in the stadium, and there are around 31,000 of people can be placed there in a game. So they fill up stadium and they make fair prices to the fans because they. I think it's fair for the fans too. For people who don't have so much money, people with a lot of money, they have chance to get more better seats, which are 800 upside the season. There are good good seats and good areas too. Include family areas, which is not that much expensive. That family have chance to go with their children to watch the game. So
that's very.
They make fair prices for the people.
And an important question is always asked: can you have a beer at your seat?
Yeah,
you can have a beer at this.
Yeah, it's not illegal. We always can drink alcohol in the stadium, beer and stuff like that. It works. There's no problem. Just some Champions League or European games, sometimes it's not allowed. For example, against Feyenoord, it was kind of
because
they stopped sell alcohol. Yeah, because the aggressions around the stadium, that's why. But it's rare to have such kind of situation.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Right. So, Roman, another wee tradition we do on this show. Before we speak to a European guest, we look at last season and we see how we got to this position. So I will fire through this as quick as I can. Anything you want to add, you just jump in. But I'll ask you at the end. I'll just ask you how you felt about it all. So, former Swiss international midfielder Raphael Vicky returned home and led the team to a title and cup double the previous season. Unsurprisingly, he retained his position as manager for the season. That league win meant that the team would enter the Champions League in the playoff round. So league-wise, another fantastic season, topping the league from match day 5 and not relinquishing it. The Swiss League also has a champions relegation split a la the Scottish League. And despite the challenge from Lugano, including a home defeat to them on the second championship match day, the title was reclaimed on the second last match day with a 1-0 win over Servette. Lugano falling to FC Zurich on the same day to make the win more emphatic. So after 38 games played, 23 wins, 8 draws, 7 losses, 76 goals scored, 34 conceded, a goal difference of plus 42, which was 26 more than Lugano in second, and 77 points on board, 12 ahead of Lugano. In the Swiss Cup, wins over FC Bretteren, Neuchâtel Xamax, and FC Rapperswil Jona, 5-0, 1-0 and 2-0 respectively, led to another away tie, this time versus Sion in the quarterfinals, and a 2-1 defeat saw the cup finish disappointingly. In Europe, a 0-0 in Israel and a 3-0 win in Bern saw the team beat Maccabi Haifa and to qualify for the Champions League group stages, drawn with Man City, RB Leipzig and Red Star Belgrade. A home win and away draw with the Serbians saw a hard group but still managed to finish in third place. In the knockouts of the Europa League, a tough draw with Sporting Portugal, 3-1 home defeat in Bern, and then a 1-1 away draw saw Young Boys out 4-2 in aggregate. On the 4th of March, after the elimination from the Swiss Cup, from the Champions League and the Europa League, and 2 leagues defeats to Servette and Zurich, Raphael Vicky was removed from his position as manager, and Joel Magnin, club under-21 coach, and I would guess a club legend. Would that be right?
Yeah, it's a legend. He's a kind of
So Joel Magnin, club legend.
He always served for the youth people and trained young people in the background.
Right, okay. So he took the team for the remainder of the season, and we'll come back to him again this season. So, Roman, I've flew through that as quick as I could. In summary, how was the season for you last year? I mean, league-wise, it looked good. I mean, that's a double done. Cup-wise, obviously, wasn't great, but you made the Champions League and still came out of it. But in your own words, was it a good season? Was it an enjoyable season?
It was an enjoyable season for sure because they won the title at least, so that was good, and they won the title a few times in a row, and that it's a
perfect.
That's a good thing, and it was really fun, and happy to see that. But when I compare the season with the seasons before, it wasn't that good than before. For example, it's all started 2018 with a brilliant season, which they won the titles in 31 years. The first time, so it had to wait 31 years old till 2018 to win the title first time again, and then next 2 years from 2018 were great seasons too, and then step by step, good players has been gone and replaced by other players which hadn't been so good than the others, or doesn't fit so much like than the other players which left the team, and year by year it gets more hard to win the title for the Young Boys. It doesn't become so easy like 2018, 19 or 20, but last year was kind of fighting season, I think.
Right.
At the end, they could get their passion up and they get their self-confidence up, and then they could do it by this self-confidence which they had as a team, as this moral of win. So they had this last season as well. So that's why they won last season. But it was kind of more the most hard season since 2018. They had to fight most hard way since that time.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was enjoyable to see because we all knew as Young Boys supporters, this time will become, then the Young Boys will get less strong and the other team will get more strong, like that. So the other teams want to follow up to the Young Boys to beat them, to get champion to themselves. So it was clear they will get stronger and Young Boys get a little bit weaker. So you can't
and what was it?
Stay always so strong this time.
Of course. Especially when you guys have the same model as us: buy cheap, sell to the bigger leagues. Buy cheap, sell, and then every now and then the transfers won't work, and as you say, the kind of season is not as great. But what was your opinion on the removal of Wiki as manager?
What do you mean about which manager?
The Young Boys manager being removed, being sacked in March.
Oh yeah. When I think about I wasn't surprised because it's sometimes it's usually then kind of the manager or kind of coach get fired when something doesn't work well. It's a first man has to leave normally. I thought that time it was kind of a little bit unfair because I would give him another chance because I thought the team was the problem, the moral in the team was the problem, and the coach can't do so much for it when the team doesn't work well together. So there's a lot. But it was on time to change. Maybe they had to give a sign. Okay, guys, it's on time. Wake up.
Yeah.
Fight for the club. Take your heart, take your legs, and go. So that's I think it was on time. But the first time I heard about he got fired, I thought, why? It's like give him another chance. I think he's a good man, but yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting.
It's the way of football, like that. I think.
Of course. It's interesting hearing your opinions because, as I say, I've looked at your recent history and last season, and it seemed it was one really bad spell, and they went right out. And as you said, to me, it seemed a bit unfair. However, he's won the league, so right decision. Right. So let's get to this season, Roman. So Patrick Raman, the 55-year-old former midfielder, was picked up from Winterthur to lead the team for the new season. Raman is a former head coach of Basel and he was at that point the Swiss under-21 coach. Now, bear with me, I'll go through the transfers, right? So, out's first, 25-year-old keeper Anthony Rakiapici joined Hull City for €1 million. Alexandra Jankovic joined Winterthur. Joel Bischel, a 22-year-old centre-back, George Saarbrücken in Germany, both undisclosed fees. Noah Pearson, Donat Rudami, Theo Goliard, Malik Demi, and Sadin Krosnavin all get loans to
name.
all get loans to Grasshoppers, Luzerne, Hermann Sport, Stade Nierney, and FC Ville, respectively. And Fabian Lustenberger, at 36 and 152 games for the club, centre back, retired from the game. Right, ins. Ibrima Koli, a 24-year-old Gambian right back, joined from Atalanta for around £1.5 million after a spell on loan with the club last season. Fascinet Conte, a Ghanaian centre forward, was picked up from Bastia on a free. Christian Fasnacht, a 31-year-old Swiss winger, was signed from Norwich, returning to the club after a couple of years in England, whilst Tanguy Zukira was picked up from Troyes. 21-year-old is a French under-20 centre-back, both again picked up undisclosed fee. And finally, Alan Virginus, a 22-year-old a 22-year-old French under-21 left winger, joined the team on loan from the season from Lille. Now, you've seen them all now for half a season. Were you happy with the guys who came in? Who's impressed you? Who hasn't? Where do you think the team missed? And I have to say, from watching the highlights, Alan Virginus looks the real deal. He looks a really good player. So
he's I probably Alan Virginius. Virginius is kind of a French name. It's a French name,
right? Okay.
But he's talented for sure. He still doesn't bring what he can. I think just right. he has more air up. He can do much more, but he probably has to fit first into the team. I think so. He like other players too. Like it was kind of difficult anyway. So that all the players fits into the team because they had to learn to be a team first.
Of course, so with a new manager as well.
That was a long time that they had to learn to be a team to play well together. So,
right.
But Virginia is kind of very good player. I think he's young, and he probably can do good job on the field when he has other players which fits together and play together. So.
Yeah. So what about the other guys? Who's impressed you from your new signings?
From all the team, you mean now?
Well, we can move on to the whole team then. We can do that. So, if we talk about the squad, right? So again, Roman, I apologise. I am a bit ignorant of your squad.
Okay.
So I'm looking at your squad, and I know one's injured, but is a name that struck out. Sadi Yanko is in the squad, but he's injured. So obviously he had a small spell in Celtic. Done nothing, nothing at all. And of course, Cedric Itten, who had a spell in Scotland with Rangers. So, I mean, looking at him, I thought he was a good player for Rangers, but it just never worked for him. He scored goals. He looks like really strong in the header. What's taken my eye is you've got a very young team, a very young squad. Philip Urganic, the Swiss international midfielder, looks a really good player, likes a shot. Joel Montero, a deep lying forward, again 25-year-old, scored 12, 7 this season. They're the guys that stuck out for me. But tell me, who are the stars of the team? Who's the guys I should look out for? And who are the future stars for your club?
Okay. Actually, the stars are probably Joel Montero is one of them because he already scored few good good goals, and he's always dangerous to make a goal, I think, and he's very talented. Uglinic, he played second highest of minutes into the team, so he always played each game probably.
Right.
He's doing good job, looks like. So he can be kind of leading person too. And basically, for many young boys supporters, Cedric Itten is kind of star.
Right. Okay.
It was because he started well for the team. He gave all for the team. Right now, he's kind of searching his place in the team because he's probably doesn't start every time as in a starting position. He just get exchanged later. But he probably always can strike well. He fits well for the team, for sure. And we have, of course, young players from which grew up at the Young Boys, like at the youth. They learned at the Young Boys youth playing football. So Levin Bloom is kind of like that guy. He's young.
Yeah.
He's very professional, I think, and he's a kind of homeboy, like one of us from Bern. So that's one thing. And
he's a fullback. He's a right back. Yeah.
And there's a Loris Benito. Loris Benito, I would say he's the biggest star when you find him. He doesn't play so much because he got hurt. He got blasted. He had to stay a long time outside to make training to get back on the pitch. So, he's kind of star because he played a long time for Young Boys, and he's kind of leading person. He's a great leader and a kind person, and many people likes him. And when he comes to the pitch and play, he's a kind of like he can support other players when it doesn't work so well. So he's kind of a good group former. So this kind of person needed right now on the pitch for the Young Boys, and that's very important right now.
Yeah.
Because I will tell later about start of the season. That's the reason why. So, and I think, but they are not basically kind of superstars, which we say this one is the best guy, and just take a look on that. It always has been like that. Young Boys should work as a team, and it was and they never had these kind of huge superstars. The last huge superstar I remember which they had was Guillaume Waro, like it's from 2018, 19, 20. A guy from PSG once played for them. Right. It was that was the last huge superstar, but big superstars don't have so much. But for sure, Joel Monteiro, when he's free in front of the Celtic goal, he's probably dangerous.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I watched the highlights, only the highlights of all your games this season, and he generally stands out. As you said, Itten looks dangerous every time I see him. He's always winning headers. He's in about it, and his touch is decent as well. But Montero looks like the guy. Looks like to me the star so far anyway. So you touched on it there. We'll move on to it, and I hope I'm not making you feel sad. The season's not went great, has it? So league-wise, it's not been a good start. 18 games, only 6 wins, 5 draws, 7 defeats. The same amount of defeats as last season. Only 25 goals scored, 29 conceded, 23 points. Means the teams currently sit in 9th place, 2 points behind St Gallen and 6 ahead of Sport in 10th. You're currently 8 points above the relegation playoff. However, you're only 8 points off the top spot. So it's still there. Swiss Cup wise, 3 away games, 3 wins, 10-0 over Prince Nadaz, 4-2 win over VV Sports, and a 1-0 win over Schaffhausen. Sets you up with a quarter-final tie away to Zurich at the end of February. Europe. Right, so
Europe
amazingly,
is
but a
not good.
fantastic playoff win over Galatasaray, winning the home leg 3-2 and then winning the away leg 1-0 meant you were qualified for the league, the new league structure. It's not been easy. A 3-0 home defeat by Aston Villa, a 5-0 away defeat at Barcelona, a battling but ultimately futile 1-0 late defeat to Inter Milan where they scored in the 92nd minute, a 2-1 away defeat to Shakhtar despite taking the lead, a 6-1 battering by Atalanta, and then again taking the lead to Stuttgart and get beat 5-1. So after 6 games, Young Boys sit at the bottom of the league and out of the competition. Before we go into your opinions, on the 8th of October, despite winning that playoff tie over Galatasaray, 15 games managed, only 1 win in the league, 2 playoff wins and 2. So Patrick Raman was fired from his role as manager, and once again Magnan took up the caretaker role. And then on the 18th of December, the current Switzerland national team assistant manager, Giorgio Contini, was appointed as manager. Right. So let's get into it. A terrible start to the season, apart from the playoff win. But the Champions League's been a disaster. I have to say, from watching it, a lot of things unlucky, but in general, it's been a bit of a disaster season so far. Is that correct?
That's completely right. Yes, we thought same. Like when we have seen them playing first game in the season, that was kind of like it was a big change when we compare it to the season which has been passed. So we couldn't explain that why. So but we haven't seen any moral in the team that time. So no one was running for each other, and they didn't know well about who's running where to give good passes. And there were two big problems, I think, in the team since this season, start of this season. First, it was the forward, the offense, because the offense wasn't influent. It was kind of stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. So it wasn't like just going and just influenced till the end. So, and at least when they've been once in front of the goal from the other team, they gave one more pass, and then they lost chance to give a good shoot, to make a score. So they always lost chance to make good goals, because us as supporters, especially me, I thought, and people around me on my seat in the stadium, they all thought they lost kind of self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And there haven't been a leader in the offense, and which wanted to be a leader. So no one wanted to be a leader in the offense and want to be that bad guy to say, hey, come on guys, let's go, and why you make this. So like no one wanted to be like that. So and the second was the defense. When you don't make score, you need a good defense. But that was worse too. But the defense was same like forward position. So they didn't defend well. So with 1 or 2 passes from the other team, you just run over the complete defense from the Young Boys, and then you had a striker from the other team in front of our goalkeeper, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then the striker just has to be a good. Normally, all the strikers in the Swiss Championship are good strikers too. It's not that kind of weak league, I think. So, and so we got many goals. We didn't make many goals because forward not influence, and defense was nothing. No talking together, no conversation, no team play, no moral. And that was a big problem, I think. And for a long time we have seen this. And then step by step it got better. That's why Patrick Raman got fired too from his job. He couldn't change the situation to Mania took his place, and then the new coach came, and I think he's a good coach now because he fits. But I have next Saturday is first game in this year. We will see how the team will play. But the start was really worse, and no moral, no self-confidence, no team play. Many good players, but don't play together as team. That was most big problem I've seen, I think.
Yeah. So as I said, I watched your highlight from your YouTube channel, and obviously there were small highlights, so I'm not seeing the whole thing. But at most games, Young Boys would attack, miss 3 chances, they would go up and score. First chance, boom, all the time. How I would describe the defensive play: clumsy, very, very clumsy. Like trying to clear it and slicing the ball. I mean, in Europe, it's hard to say a 5-0 defeat is unlucky, but it just say. I mean, I looked at every game and every goal was avoidable. Every goal, every game, every goal was so avoidable. And as you said up front, everybody's taking that extra touch. There doesn't look that. Yeah. So everything you said was exactly my comments about how you guys are playing just now. So I mean, the manager had to go. So let's talk about the new manager for 2 seconds. I appreciate that you haven't seen him. I mean, you've had what, three friendly games? Is that correct? You had
already 3 friendly games had already.
So you played Sepsi. You had a 4-1 win. You had a 2-1 defeat to mid-table Zweite side Hanover. 2 goals, 2 late goals, and then a 1-0 home defeat by Ludogorets, and then you had that 6-0 win over Biel recently. And as you say, you return to football this Saturday with a home tie over Winterthur. Now the manager is he's been around Swiss football. What are you expecting from him? Are you expecting him to tighten up the defence? Are you expecting him to play more passing football? What kind of manager do you think he's going to be?
He probably will be first kind of person which understands players well, which have good conversation skills,
right,
and he talks many languages, and that it has to be at the Young Boys team because there are so many languages included in this team. So he has to talk many languages from Spain to France, from Spain, France, from all countries. So they'll make people from all around the world in the team. And the other way, I think he's kind of very social person, which probably can bring that team together. I think now important is bring this team together, make it to a team, go for each other, that they understand each other kind of blind way. So that they arrive probably once, I hope they arrive once, they give a pass and they know without seeing the other where the other guy is standing or where the other guy is running. So I think this must be the goal, like this kind of self-confidence, to trust each other, go for each other, to build that team as a team, I think. And to make the defense stronger, they need a leader into the defense to make the defense really strong, to arrive to trust the defense when something doesn't work well in the offense. And I probably just basically the moral in the team, to bring the team together. That's the main point which he has to do first.
Right. Okay.
And I have seen this one in Champions League games too. Like something happened which didn't worked well for the team, and they broke out together.
Yeah. Fall apart. Yeah.
No moral.
I mean, like, the Aston Villa game is a perfect example of that, isn't it? All the pressure, they score, collapse. So let's talk about the upcoming game. And so I don't know what age you say. What age did you say you are?
What do you mean?
What age are you?
38.
38, right. So Celtic have met Young Boys once before in 1993, in the UEFA Cup in 1993. A 0-0 game in Bern was followed up by a Celtic 1-0 win in extra time, and with a 106-minute own goal from a guy called Alan Bowman. And I remember that game. That was one of the worst games of football I've ever seen in my life.
You've been there or not?
I've never been in Bern, but I was at
Okay.
I was at the stadium. I was in Glasgow. I was at the stadium 1-0 on a cold night in September, and it was a terrible game of football. I hope this one's better.
I
So
heard that. I heard that too from Marcus. So
yeah.
so a good game. He's been part of it. So
Yeah. Right. So before we kind of get into that, see the Champions League this season, right? So obviously you were in the Champions League last season, but we've got this new league structure. You were given a pretty hard draw. Aston Villa's a hard game. Barcelona, Atalanta, Inter Milan, fucking Stuttgart are really, really tough. But what was your expectations going into the Champions League? Was it high? Was it low? Was it
yeah, my expectations about it. Basically, the expectations into the Champions League when the Young Boys play Champions League is not so high.
Yeah.
And the Young Boys supporters are kind of based that they don't have too high expectations about the Champions League, because it's always difficult to play as a Swiss team into a Champions League, because it's kind of, even you're kind of leading the season as well, you're still a small team against others in all around Europe, basically. So it's kind of
exactly.
you're always underdog, always kind of underdog. And I'm not sure if other teams or other supporters really know Young Boys too as well. It's not so kind of huge. Impressive team in Champions League, never has been. So they but I expected kind of maybe 1 or 2 wins when they play perfectly. It can happen sometimes. It already happened against Juventus once. They won 1-0 in Bern, and play at home, play perfect games. Probably possible to win 1 or 2 games, maybe 3, or kind of or draw, I don't know. It could be happened, but it didn't happen, because compare with the season at home in Switzerland, it wouldn't work well in Champions League too. So it's the same situation about tomorrow. And so that my expectation was kind of really low. I thought, okay, I go there, bought ticket, I go and watch them, support them, but I didn't expect they win against Milan, win against Aston Villa. I didn't expect Atalanta too. So my expectation to win is probably for Belgrade. It will be a hard fighting game. This could be a win for sure. And expectation maybe against Celtic is probably possible too to win, but it will be hard fighting too. But I thought Celtic and Belgrade would be these 2 games which probably a win would be possible. But the other teams, I never thought they can win against. They're too big teams.
Yeah, maybe Shakhtar as well. Maybe Shakhtar, Donetsk.
Shakhtar would be possible too, but we already played Shakhtar already a few times years ago.
Yeah,
and Shakhtar is always hard to beat, hard to play against them. They have a hard way to play. It's kind of difficult to play against them. So Shakhtar is not that easy to win. We have seen them already in Bern, so it's not that easy to win against them. I just hope Belgrade is kind of like the team which they can beat best way.
Yeah. And that's at home, isn't it? That is in Bern. The game is in Bern, isn't it?
Belgrade is in Bern. Yeah. It is the last Champions League game in Bern, so it's in a hometown stadium. It probably will be possible with all these things together to get a win. Maybe just 1 win in this Champions League season.
Yeah.
But they didn't expect a lot. So
no. Celtic are the same. I mean, we're the same. We're in Scotland. No matter how good we in the league we are, everybody comes as favourite. Do you know what I mean? we went to Dortmund. Fucking hell, man, 7-1. Okay. So let's talk about the game then. I would understand your logic. If you were sitting there, look, Glasgow, Celtic, we could beat them. it'll be hard, but we can beat them. But now, with all the other results and the new manager and stuff, are you, as the team, as a city, looking forward to the game, or is it now an inconvenience? Because the only thing to play for you guys is money.
Mm, mm, mm.
Is it an
Um,
inconvenience now?
yeah, it's just the money. We
Yeah,
don't gain a we never arrive to continue in Champions League
yeah, exactly.
this
Yeah,
season. It doesn't work. We are just last placed, I think.
yeah. I'm
Um,
I'm saying now, would the game be an inconvenience to the team because you guys are trying to climb back up the Swiss league and
mm,
challenge
mm,
for the title?
mm,
In
mm.
this game, you could
I
because
am my thoughts is like that. Um, this for especially this game on the 22nd. Young Boys can win against Celtic when everything works well.
yeah,
But
yeah,
all have to
definitely.
be perfect. Moral, playing way. Everyone has to run for each other. The team has to work perfectly. Then it
Yeah.
works.
Mm-hmm.
But my feelings, I thought before to chat with you, I thought I probably see Celtic more as winner because first, they are first place in the league. They have kind of points. They have a difference between. They have
Yeah,
points, a few points difference between the first to the second.
that's
A
right.
few. I
Yeah,
don't know how many. But
13
so
now.
yeah, so you're leading the league. You can be more fresh. You don't have
Mm,
that much or so massive problem into your league. So we
yeah,
have to carry the problems into our league tomorrow. The playing skills, that stuff we have to. We have many problems to carry in Switzerland to win the league, and I think the focus is mostly on the Swiss league, on the
yeah, of
cup, on
course.
the Swiss champion. As we told, we can't continue. Champions League doesn't
Mm,
work with 2 wins. The next point is it's at the Paradise at the Celtic Park. You have loud singing, chanting support from Celtic. Uh, Even it's probably for Celtic a magical Champions League night will be probably sold
mm,
out.
mm.
Great atmosphere and Celtic supporters in such kind of great atmosphere. Probably they push Celtic more forward to win,
Yeah,
and Celtic has much more will and much more things and much more reasons to win the game to continue in the
of course,
Champions League.
of
And
course.
I think I see Celtic more as winner because they have the morals better, standards better
Yeah,
in the league. More, they have more to lose. No, they have no, they have more to lose. I think than Young Boys. Young Boys just can win money. That's all.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Celtic can win much more. So it's more important for them. And I think Celtic will fight more to reach that step,
yeah,
continue
yeah.
Champions League. That's my thought. Yeah. I don't see Young Boys as winner.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. So that kind of sums up. Just a wee offset. What is the perception of Celtic in Bern and Switzerland in general? Just a normal team, or a is there much do like so you know about Celtic? Is there a big expectations on Celtic? Do they rate Celtic as a good football team or just average?
Um, I think Celtic is a good football team at the moment. I think they had other season in the Champions League where they haven't been so strong that this
That's
year. I
right.
think they already this year they won a few things. Salzburg, I remember, like is it something like
Yeah,
that? They could get a few points. So to win for winning games like and to go step upwards into the rankings, Champions League rankings right now. So I think Celtic is this year a good team with a good moral in the Champions League, which see their self chances to stay in the Champions League, like they didn't have years before such kind of situation. I think
brilliant,
they use
Roman.
that chance now.
Brilliant, Roman. Right. So we're just going to finish up in a second, but before I let you go, I'm going to ask you, what is it still your belief that you have the best squad and team in Switzerland? And do you think you guys can win the league?
Basically, I think we still have with a minimal distance, we have the best squad in the Swiss league, but it's a minimal distance. The other teams got much more stronger. They built up more stronger, especially I have to say Lugano. Lugano is kind of that good with that huge moral, with huge playing skills. Lugano with they get better and better and better. So it's just it just needs some time that we aren't the best team in Switzerland, because our team gets more and stronger. Yeah, we have to work on it. They have to work on the team. It's still the best team, but not so long time, I think now. Not so long time.
That's absolutely brilliant. Now, Roman, thank you very much for taking your time, because I know you've got work this evening and we're doing this in the morning. Thank you very much for taking your time and speaking to me. It's really appreciated. I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot from you. Have you got, are you on social media if the people can follow you?
Not about that thing. It's okay without social media.
Okay. Right. So we'll finish it off there. I really hope your season turns around. I hope you get beat next Wednesday, but I hope your season turns around and you go and win the league, and we can maybe meet again next year in Bern. But Roman Käeser, thank you very much, sir. Really appreciated.
So thank you too. It was fun. It was nice to chat with you, to talk about.
Good man, Roman. All the best.
All the best for you.
Ob Sonne scheint, ob Schiff, ob Schnee, das ist uns ganz egal. Wenn Liebe spielt, das ist eine Freude, ja, das ist maximal. Ob Kuli, Mäni, Rosenthal, Krefeld, Quiz geht vor. Da stehen wir auf dem Wattdorffeld und singen im Chor. Habet noch am Bänkli, IB hat für euch ein Geschenkli. Habet noch am Bänkli, IB schießt das Goal. Wie IB spielt, wie IB stört, es ist eine wahre Freude. Drum hat ne Besuch im Stadion bis heute noch keiner treut. Und wenn sie dribbeln, flanken, schiessen, immer richtig durch. Der ist der hinterst vor seinem Sitz und mächtig tönt's im Chor. Habet noch am Bänkli, IB hat für euch ein Geschenkli. Habet noch am Bänkli, IB schießt das Goal. Ein rechter Giel, so hat man gesagt, der müsst bei IB